Warning, what you are about to hear will disrupt the norm. We are the voice of the social misfit. We empower the outliers.
Nah, don't run from the discomfort. You need to stay in it. Feel the feels and feel some type of way. Let it hit your core, because that's where our healing and our change begins.
System malfunction. System override. I'm feeling triggered!
Hey you guys, it's your girl Lauren Jones.
What up? And it's your boy Jarrell T.G.
And welcome to yet another episode of Feeling Triggered Podcast.
And we back, and we back, and we back.
So this is the podcast where we're going to process all of our entrepreneurial journey. Mm-hmm. We're going to feel some type of way, and hopefully you feel some type of way too.
Oh, you going to feel the type of way. Because if you, anywhere in the entrepreneurial space, if you're in a creative, soloist space,
okay,
then you know what the vibes, you know the feels.
But hopefully you use this to, one, for entertainment, but two, just to encourage you and to edify you along your journey, because we're not there yet to the $1 billion status yet, but we're well on our way, and hopefully you come along with us, build with us together so we can get there. But we're gonna get right into it because and I have my docket, so Jarrell's been teaching me a lot about media, digital media, so I've learned the term docket, and I have the docket prepared for today. So if you see me glancing on my phone, that's what we're doing. So today, the very first segment, we're going to start right away with Feel the Feels. Jarrell, my man, bruh, I see it. What's going on? How are you feeling?
Well, as of this month, I have celebrated 1 year of business. You know what I mean? That's super dope. Oh, let me see. We're gonna play around today, guys. Just because
do we have sounds?
Just because I want to be a cool guy. Yes, we do. But we'll get to them later. I'm pretty sure that they're in here. I just have to find them. But yeah, man. So like I said, this is my first year in business. I've officially, had my feet wet. Got my feet wet in the situation. But in that, you begin to realize that's like, it's like if you, I like doing like analogies and metaphors and stuff.
Really?
It's like you put together a dope basketball team, right? So like LeBron's team, because LeBron is a vet. He's been in the game a minute. So when the ups and downs happen, they're a lot more
polished,
and you're able to kind of battle the ebbs and flows easier. But when you're a new team, like that has a lot of great potential, has played some really good games, and then you start losing, you like, yo, this is your first time in a position of like, and when you think of over the course of a season, losing one game is not losing, being a losing team.
Right.
Like it's no team that has went 82 and up. Like so you're going to lose games. That's inevitable. The less games you lose is of course the better, but it's inevitable. You're going to lose games. But when you're in that first season and you be having you go on a 12, 13, 15 game winning streak and then you lose 4 straight, it's like, whoa, the mojo's gone, it's over. And that pressure to fight the feeling of feeling like it's over, it's run its course. I've had this success I had. Let's just get on.
Let's go.
It's hard. It's hard. And I think the harder part is knowing that you're doing the work. Knowing that the stuff that needs to be getting done is getting done. Knowing that the innovation is there. Knowing that the ideas are there. But certain parts of it that have yet to connect. And I say have yet because I believe that everything is going to happen in the right time.
Yeah.
But the things that are necessary to make it go from a little sprout to a big tree, aside from just time, which is probably the most underrated of all of the ingredients for success. Because true success is going to take time. Overnight success is almost a facade. Like, so from that realm, it's just like, stay focused, keep an understanding of it's going to happen. Keep understanding of, yo, this is just year one. You know how long, I mean, think about how long Apple's been in business. Think about how long, you know, some of these multi-million-dollar, even publicly traded companies. Look how long some of these film studios and production companies have been around. Like, they've been around for a minute. So you got to be okay with the ease of flows and getting past those and continuing to pour into this passion, to this purpose-driven work that I'm trying to do.
Okay.
And wait for it to happen.
So you gave your analogy, you gave your ebbs and flows, you gave your takeaway. I didn't really hear any feeling words.
Man,
Jarrell intellectualizes a lot of stuff, so that was very accurate. Yep, I understood. He understood. But what are the feels? What are your feelings? How are you feeling?
I feel constrained. I feel anxious. I feel I don't want to go as far as to say discouraged, because I don't feel like I'm discouraged, but I will say that the honeymoon phase is over. In terms of being a business.
That's fair.
Because this past year I've been, you know, living life on the edge. Like, yeah, you know, what's up? Like, I'm a business owner, and the thing is, I pay myself. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't be, but it's like, yeah, but it don't work the same way as when you get 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and you get it 2 weeks again, and you get another one, and it's like, oh man, I did the wrong thing with this money right here. I made the wrong move. I did this. 2 weeks. All right, let's try it again. But with this, it's like every dollar counts, every action counts. And not to say that there's not going to still be mistakes regardless. But it's like everyone counts. And every inaction counts. That's the crazy part.
That's a lot of pressure.
At every point, you're like, and especially as a sole proprietor, it's me. It's me. Now, I collaborate with a lot of people, but they're also doing them. They have their own situation. We're just bringing our two situations together to try to help each other. But it's me. So all the decision making falls on me. All of all of the tangible work falls on me. So maybe overwhelmed.
That's a good word.
Overwhelmed. Is whelmed a thing?
Underwhelmed.
Underwhelmed, but you can't just be
overwhelmed. I don't think you could just be
because I feel like I'm just whelmed. Like I don't want to consider it. I don't want to say that I'm overwhelmed because I can handle it, and like you say because what I've realized, you always call out my intellectualizing of my emotions, but I think that's a very strong coping mechanism for me because the way God set my brain up, if it can make sense, it's not as emotionally effective. Because I'm like, it's a part of the plan. Because of my whole vision, my whole everything, all of the work, everything that I do is a part of it's a master plan. It's the master plan. You know what I'm saying? So when things are not going the way that I see them, if I can figure out or at least come to some level of self-understanding of why this may be a thing. So I don't believe that I'm overwhelmed. And because I intellectualize, I think it's a coping mechanism to my bigger understanding of this is all a part of the plan. So even when it's a down part, when it's down slope, when things are happening that's not in my favor, that I feel like are going against what I think should be going on, if I can find some level of whether personal action or inaction, because like I say, all of those matter. If I find a personal action or inaction or just a bump on the road, like it's not a place of everything's ruined. Like if I can find that idea, if I can find that reason, it makes me feel better.
Okay. That's a lot of pressure on your coping mechanism.
Not really,
It
because
needs to be an effective filtration system for you. It's not a bad thing to have. It's a great thing to have. I have it as well, which is probably why I see it in you. It can I think it's great as a filtration system,
Just to
but
kind of understand.
not totally blocking you off from experiencing what you need to experience, because I think our emotions provide really critical information. And if we have this mechanism up that doesn't allow us to get that information, we're not able to make as informed decisions as we need to moving forward. Not to say it's a bad thing to have up. It's great to have filters.
I suppose. So, but that's what I guess that's where I'm still not necessarily struggling, but that's why I'm still seeking understanding. What is the idea of you are feeling your feels? Like, I is it just the recognition that they're there? Like, is there a certain action, or like, what is it? Because it's like I just said, when you said, okay, but what are the feelings? It's just like, oh, okay, I can tell you what I feel like. What is the feeling of the feelings? If that makes sense. Because we tell y'all this is literally the name of the segment. The segment is called Feel the Feels, and I feel like that is something that I feel that is something that I still struggle with, because I don't know, and maybe, growing up in society that we do, being a black man, we don't really get that space, so we don't really never learn how to do that, because so early we've been taught that as soon as you start to feel anything, to shut them down, and good and bad feelings. Well, positive feelings and more, I don't know how you want to put it. Because you just say there's no negative feelings, they're all messages.
I'm mad that's the voice you're using right now.
Yeah, it's not like a Barney special sometimes. Like, feel your feelings.
Oh my God.
Like, that's, but real life, that was mental health for us back in the day, though. Like, that's really,
okay.
Barney was just like a psychologist a little bit, bro.
So this is so when I say feel the feels, I'm encouraging you to take up space, like not necessarily trying to solve it or resolve it or move past it, but to allow yourself space and time to just let your feelings exist and to feel the way that you need to feel. Because like you said, we have been socially conditioned and indoctrinated within our culture that's just not a thing that we do.
Yeah. Like,
you move past it, you push through, you power forward. But no, there needs to be dedicated space to, one, become self-aware. So you're checking in, like, no, how am I feeling? What is going on with me right now? What is happening? And then allowing yourself to process it. So whatever you need to do to cathartically release whatever you're feeling, but then you're also using that feelings for information. Like, what do I need to do to rectify anything that needs to be rectified, or adjust however I need to adjust, modify whatever I need to modify. And then once I'm done, once this feeling is no longer like benefiting me, or I'm not learning from it, or I'm not experiencing what I need to experience, being able to let it go. Because a lot of us are just moving through life and we're hoarding and carrying so many unfelt feelings, and they get very heavy and boggled down. And then one little thing that's not even necessarily related to all of the weight that you're carrying and feeling sets it off, and now it's like a domino effect. And the person is kind of like, well, where'd that come from? It came from days or weeks or months or years or decades of not dedicating time to actually feel what you're feeling in that moment.
So, is there a possibility to, when I go into the filtration system, that is recognition that there are feelings there, and that is me going, okay, well, what do I need to do to move through these feelings?
Yeah, I think you're becoming aware. Well, that maybe not. It depends on what your process of intellectualizing something. Because if you're experiencing life and then you process it and you understand it and then you solve it and move through it, I don't know if you dedicated enough time to really experience what you're experiencing. Like, I think there's lessons and there's elements in anxiety or whelmed or other things that you said that will help inform your next choice. But if you're just kind of understanding, like, oh, I'm experiencing this because my phone's not ringing. Okay, how do I make my phone ring? I don't know if it gives you enough time, but I think it's instant by instant, because like if you step on a Lego, ouch, I'm in pain. Why am I in pain? Because I stepped in a Lego. What do I need to do? Move the Lego. Okay, cool.
But that might not, it's like, ouch.
No,
that's
so yeah,
feeling,
so I was
right?
like, that's an example of intellectualizing pain.
Right.
Or like, oh, I touched the stove.
That's
ouch.
hot. Let's not do that
that's
anymore.
Hot. Why is it hot? Right. But then there's other more complex emotions like anxiety, which is not just one thing. It's a lot of different things. So, okay, why am I experiencing anxiousness? What am I worried about? What is concerning me in this moment?
Right.
Like, okay, if these specific things are concerning me, let me check the strength of these things, the relationships, the connections that I need to make. What do I need to do differently? You're actually spending time assessing all the different elements that create anxiety for you. And you're trying to address the root of these feelings. And you're like, okay, let me move on from this and try it out and see if it works. Versus saying, I'm anxious. Oh, well, that's life. That's a boss. Let me keep moving. You're not spending any time really analyzing the root, the why. So I'm saying if we blow past that part, we're always going to experience that same anxiety, that same lesson until we really explore. Well, let me dig down deep and really get to the heart of why I'm experiencing these feelings. Which is why I say feel the feels. Like, no, stay in it. It's uncomfortable. It's painful. It's awkward. It's messy. We might not even have the tools, but that needs a moment of your time, a moment of your day. Just
But yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like if you recognize that something's there, and for my reason. For those of y'all that do know me, Lauren, you know me. I am a very like analytical person. I bring a lot of logic to things. So recognition of those feelings triggers me going, why is this happening? What's going on here? Like, okay, cool, this is what's happening. And so you're saying that that's still the same question that I'm asking. How do you feel? Like you said, sit in and fully experience what it is that you're feeling, because it sounds like the process is the same as intellectualizing it. You're trying to understand what it means and where it's coming from. So is that the definition of feeling the feels, or is it just like I'm hurt, so I have to just sit here and cry because that's.
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of things. I think understanding it is important, but right. Even if you can't understand it, I think it's still warranted to have a space where you're experiencing it. I think understanding it and experiencing it are different. They can work in tandem. You know, if you step on that Lego and you experience this pain, this sensation, yeah, I can intellectualize it by saying, oh, there's a Lego there. Oh, let me move this Lego. I will never step on Legos again. But I'm still experiencing this pain. So I have an option. I could just blow past it and be like, the pain will wear off. Or I can say, you know what, let me sit down. Let me put some ice on it. Let me massage my foot. Like, let me do certain things
that are in direct response
with experiencing
to the actual pain, not
the root
experience of. I mean, not the situation in which brings the pain.
Right. So I understand why I'm hurt.
Right.
But my hurt still deserves some treatment. I still need to dedicate. Like, yeah, I was on my way out the door, but no, I'm stopped. Let me treat my foot, and then I'll still go out the door. I'll still move my life, and I'll still now be hyper sensitive of Legos forever and ever, always. That traumatized me now, but I still allowed myself experience of the pain. So it's difference between understanding it and experiencing it. And there's going to be emotions, there's going to be situations that we can't fully intellectualize. And I think that if that's our only measure of addressing emotion, and there's a moment where we don't understand emotions because our emotions aren't governed by logic. It doesn't have to make sense. I think that's going to spiral us because we're going to get so frustrated about not being able to say, why can't I grasp this concept? Why can't I understand what's going on? And that's a lot of pressure, which is why I said that's a lot of pressure on that coping mechanism, because essentially it's going to feel like it's failing. But no, that's not the design. Essentially, you still need to experience it regardless if you can understand it. If you can understand it, great. But you still got to experience it.
But it made sense with that foot one, because it's like intellectualizing and addressing the problem would be moving the Lego. Understanding and
experiencing the pain.
And then, you know, coping with the emotion would be, like you said, icing the foot or doing whatever.
But we've been taught to be like, come on, we're going to be late. Come on, we got to keep going. You don't really get the time to...
Dang, that hurt.
We don't even...
But I'm not hurt, really? It did hurt, but I'm going to act like I'm not hurt.
Right.
Yeah,
meanwhile, foot still throbbing on your way to wherever you need to go. And I think culturally, we're good at one and we're not necessarily good at the other, but we need space and time to feel.
Right.
Which is why I've been saying, feel the feels. Feel every piece of that. Use it. Because now when we are experiencing worse stuff, like, oh, I stepped on glass, or, oh, I'm keep using my foot thing, but still, do we have the tools and the resources in our toolbox to know what on earth I'm supposed to do with that? Normally, when I stub my toe, I just keep it pushing. Now I'm broke the glass and I see blood. I don't even know what's step one. I never felt pain. Like, I've never dedicated time to experience pain before.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. And a lot of the times we're walking around with shards of glass, essentially, whether it's physical or emotional. We're just walking around bleeding on everything. And I'm kind of like, you've been bleeding on that for a while. We haven't really dedicated much time to really feel what's hurting, or we've become so desensitized, so numb. It's kind of like, oh, another shard. It's fine. I'll add it to my collection.
I'll manage. Yeah.
It's just what we do. We just walk with shards. We're Team Shard.
That's
Team Shard. And I'm like, you should probably.
Weird.
It does.
That sounds weird.
It does. I couldn't not say it though.
Yeah, that's.
We went on a tangent because I didn't even say how I'm feeling.
I know.
But I think that was important though, to really kind of reintroduce this segment. So for me, feel the feels. I feel tired. Like I'm feeling tired. I really resonate with what Jarrell was saying about being a full-time entrepreneur and not having that financial security. And every move has to be calculated and intentional in order for the check to come. And I don't want to be in that space of doing the work for the check, because I've been in real full-time work where you're doing the work for the check. And it creates this very toxic environment. And with being an entrepreneur, it's just you. I don't want to create and foster that toxic mentality where I'm trying to do whatever I need to do in this moment to ensure that I can pay myself through my company. So I'm realizing that that's manifesting again. And I think that I'm able to identify that because I've experienced it before. Because I know that that's going to lead to compassion fatigue. That's going to lead to burnout. That's going to lead to maybe I should just hang, entrepreneurship up on the shelf real quick, jump into whatever we need to get it done. So I'm realizing that I'm feeling, I think, overworked, which is frustrating to feel that way for two reasons. One, you're the only person working. Facts. So if the only person working feels overworked, who's going to pick up the slack while the overworked person gets some reprieve?
Facts.
And two, it's extremely frustrating because I'm a clinical social worker. You think I know how to maneuver basic human emotions, but nevertheless, knowledge does not remove you from experiencing what you need to experience. I can comprehend. I see it. I can kind of a bird's eye view. I see me and I see the things that I'm doing every day. And it's a lot. I see the relationships I'm making. I'm seeing the work that I'm making. And I'm saying to myself, ooh, that's a red flag. Ooh, You shouldn't do that. Whoa, you working too much. You ain't sleep. So the clinical side of me sees it, but I'm still doing it. I'm still experiencing it.
What's the resolve? Because it's not like these would be considered what would be considered inevitable problems. Like as an entrepreneur, these are things that are almost,
they are inevitable, and you have to create boundaries and systems. So kind of think of bowling, like you're bowling down the lane and you're constantly getting gutter balls. You know, that's just, I mean, I'm throwing the ball, it's going down, it's just going up. So you end up figuring out, you know what, let's put up rails. Let's put up those bumper things. So you're still throwing the same way and it is heading to the gutter, but it bounces off that guardrail and it goes down the middle. That's kind of how life works when we're talking about coming up with coping mechanisms or some type of safety boundaries to prevent whatever it is we're trying to prevent. So
even if you just learn to throw it different?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm not saying that you should just do one thing. You should do multiple things. Yeah. But as of right now, the easiest thing to change is by creating boundaries and systems in place. And then once you have those safety measures, then you can work on skill. You can work on form. But as of right now, we're working on survival. And if you're constantly going in the gutter, that's not effective survival. So you're just putting up some fail-safe boundaries to make sure you don't fail. Like there's no way you're gonna mess this up. It's gonna go down there. And then once you have that, then you can risk. You know, you can try new things. You could try new forms, try new strategies. And then when you master that, you can decide, maybe I don't need these anymore. Maybe I do, but it's.
And then what's cool is, I think when you get those safety harnesses or railings, as you use in the bowling analogy, when you get that safety, it actually causes you to be more ambitious, like by default, because you like, I can't hit the ground, so I can put a little bit more risk into it. And I feel like there is definitely ways. There's definitely ways, and I definitely don't want to discourage folks from feeling like there are ways to put safety nets around you. For some people who do both, like a lot of people have 9-to-5s and they have their business, and of course, until they meet a time where their business is, you know, more lucrative, they stay with their 9-to-5, which is dope and which is super admirable for the people that can do that. But for us that, you know, just jumped out in the water, you know what I'm saying? With no floaties, no nothing, no life jackets, nothing. We out here living the dream. Because this is my thing, like, I'm not a gambler, but everybody knows the old rule of gambling that, you know, house always wins, which is, I don't feel like is the name of the game. Even though in some way, form, or fashions, in the industry, especially in the media industry that I work in, the house does win in a lot of ways. And in order to be, you got to be innovative in order to even, you know, match odds with the house. Like, so trying to match odds with the house, provide your own self, because what most happens is the safest way to gamble is play with house money, right? But if you play with house money, you not winning. I mean, in gambling, you still can win for yourself. You get your own draws from that. But like when you're playing with house money, you end up losing as a creative because you lose the creative aspect of it in a lot of situations. I think about for those of y'all who keep up with, you know, current events and pop culture and stuff, Kevin Hart's Heartbeat Production just signed for over $100 million with the private equity company that are going to basically put more money into it so that he can, you know, do more things and invest and stuff. But that's dope for, I would say, Kevin Hart specifically, because he's built a brand that people can trust. They have a level of that's their own level of safety net, knowing who Kevin Hart is and what he's been able to accomplish without any outside funding, really. So on one hand, cool, but from this perspective that I look at it as, you give away your power when you play with the house money. If you don't have your own money to play with, it's like you looking at, I won't call it a lose-lose, but you kind of looking at a hard decision to make, because hey, I don't have any money now to really do what I gotta do, so I have to be creative in what I am doing and work within the means of what I have, or take the house money and have enough to do what I really want to do, but now I don't have the creative control to actually do what I want to do. So it's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
So just keep throwing the ball. Just keep throwing the ball down the lane and hoping to hit something. That sounds. Hey, for those of y'all who are considering entrepreneurship, do not let this conversation discourage you. This is just us venting about actually being in it. And I wouldn't choose it any other way. I would choose being frustrated about the anxiety of waiting for plants to grow, waiting for sprouts to become trees, waiting for those trees to become forests. I would much rather have that anxiety than the what is it? Disdain of having to walk into someone else's establishment every morning and, be my best self for someone else. And don't get me wrong, in looking and browsing, I've seen a lot of, because I've built my company and the skills that I've been able to acquire within the projects that I've been able to do makes me more equitable in, job market. And looking is like, there are a lot of jobs that now I'm looking more as like, okay, that will be a cool job to do. I wouldn't feel bad. I wouldn't feel the way. Because like when I was teaching, like I didn't hate teaching. Like I didn't, there were parts of it that I didn't like. And of course, once we went into the pandemic, like that was a whole different situation. Yeah. But I never walked, by the time, even if, getting up, I gotta get up in the morning, I'm sleepy, I ain't getting enough sleep, I got this to do, I didn't do this. By the time I walk in the door, I see my class, and they like, what's up, Mr. J? Like, I was good, like, I'm okay, like, I'm not feeling drained by this situation. And if I do step into another job, I want it to be in that same capacity. I don't want to be doing it just because they're going to pay a check. Because what happened, and that's kind of the battle that I was facing in terms of being an entrepreneur and working in somewhere, is because you got to kind of pick a side. In most case scenarios, it's like my business is now my side hustle. You know what I mean? And when people start making certain amounts of money, then because of how we've been conditioned, your lifestyle goes down to fit that money. And so now, taking a leap to your build, you're going to have to continue to make your business bigger in order to feel like it's going to be equitable. I feel like with me, because of where I came from, it's still all passion driven. It's still all purpose driven. It's not the bag necessarily, even though the bag is necessary. But it's just like, we got to figure out how to make... I don't even want to say that. Like, how to make both, because I was gonna say how to make both work, but I don't want to make both work. I want to have that, and this sounds bad. It's fantastic. I want to have that fairy tale business. Like, yo, this man, he was a teacher, and then he just took a leap of faith and started making content and started doing Feeling Trigger podcasts and all the other various projects that we work on, collaborate with people, and eventually, like, his name just stopped buzzing around, and then now he, doing tours of speaking in live podcasts and live, and all that. So it's just like, that's what I see for myself. Yeah. And I feel like any other thing than that is like impeding on what it is I'm supposed to be. So okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It is though. There's nothing wrong with that. To us, it's nothing wrong with that. To the people who are actually living that life, for the people that are actually trying to do something that is outside of the norm. No, it's no wrong with that. But for the rest of the world, everybody that's looking at you while you're doing that, and just until you get to the point where now they going to switch around like, oh man, I always had faith in you. Or before that, everybody look at you like, Brad, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
what are you doing? Like,
yes.
Like, what are you doing? You ain't driving no 2020. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got no dope suburban crib. Like, you ain't, you know what I'm saying? You ain't going out at the fancy restaurants all the time and pouring up fancy bottles of wine. This is really good wine, by the way, guys. Apothic Red. I like Winemaker's Blend, but Inferno is also really good. Hey, if you want to sponsor the Feel the Trigger podcast, we don't promote drinking.
Okay.
We don't promote drinking as a means of coping with your feelings. However, in great conversation, it's also great beverages. And this is a really great one. So, Apothic, hit me up.
Boom, there it is.
We can make some things happen.
There it is.
Some commercials.
You might as well.
But anywho, you want some words?
Sure.
You don't need to drink it. I'm sorry.
I was sipping, but
sorry.
I mean, you could still top
Yeah,
it. Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Sorry.
Oh, shit. I feel like we should do a commercial now. But I'm
Commercial for Apothic?
well for just libations.
Oh, libations. Or Vices coming to you.
Oh yeah, vices.
But
Okay,
we'll
but
do
that's
church announcement
that's later.
Church announcement.
But I'm saying nothing's wrong with that.
This mic is not working. Hold on, let me pause this for a second. Boom.
So I agree with everything that you're saying, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. And continuing this bowling analogy, and then it's going to transition into a different one when we get into the trigger warning. If everybody's stepping up to the lane, you know, everyone has this visualization of what it looks like to strike, to get a strike, whatever it is. So if that's your strike as far as your business, if that's what you want for your lifestyle, then so be it. There's nothing wrong with that. Everyone has different lanes. Everyone has different strike zones. And a lot of us essentially are just throwing the ball. And the more we learn, the more we modify to ensure that we get closer and closer to hitting this strike. Some people had training about how to throw strikes before they even stepped up to the lane. Some people, they never have no kind of training as far as even how to hold a bowling ball or choose the right one. So they're fumbling in the beginning. Some of us have arms hurt.
I think that's me.
Throwing the ball so long, the arms hurt. Like, we thinking about, should we change arms? Should we just leave? What should we do? I think that we're all at different levels in life as far as getting this strike. Some people were observing, and they just getting strike after strike after strike. They just throwing the ball, and it just so happens to go down the lane. And I think that creates a lot of feelings because we have this idea of what we want in this time frame as far as when this should happen, and it's frustrating when life is not lifing according to where we need it to be. And I think that that's incredibly one, I think that's incredibly frustrating, so I hear that.
Yes.
But two, I also think that that's kind of where both of us are. And that's what we're going to be talking about in our trigger warning segment. In our trigger warning segment, y'all see this, right?
No. It was right along what you said, though. I was like, you forgot one category. The category of people who got their name up there on the screen to say that they bowling, but it's somebody else out front bowling for them, and they just collecting the strikes. They ain't even throwing them themselves.
Okay, yeah. Some people can hire help. That's
the only thing.
Okay, fine.
Because I feel like there's a lot of people out there like that.
There's a lot of different categories. And if y'all could think of stuff too, comment down below of all the different categories that are at the bowling alley right now. And I think that analogy transcends to what we talked about before, because I think that we talk a lot about nature-based, garden-based strategies and analogies. And we're planting seeds, right? We're planting seeds, whether it's the skills that we're learning to better our business and better our professional development, whether it's the relationships we're nurturing and growing, whether it's the collaborations and the connections, whether it's the items for our business, whether it's the financial assets for our business. We're just planting all these different categories of seeds. And seed planting, I think, is so exciting because we can very vividly visualize what we want for this seed, what's it gonna be. Like, I can already see it happening. Like, I have big plans for Propel, and I know you have big plans for Grillsphere.
Oh, boy.
And we've planted rows and rows and rows
boy.
and rows and rows, and then we collab on rows, and we just have so many different things. And there gets to a point where we're exhausted from seed planting, and we're sitting and we're sitting and we're sitting and we're sitting and we're sitting
and watching it, and it sprout,
and it's doing a little
the
something,
little green pop out the bottom.
We're like, oh, it's a little bud, little stem.
It's like I'm not gonna say I caught a green thumb, but I'm trying to step into this world. So I planted my fiance, Jasmine Cole. Shout out Jasmine Cole and All in One Voice. That's her company. We all entrepreneurs and business owners out here. But her mom for Christmas bought me a little kit, like a learner grow kit. That's 4 different types of bonsai trees. So I just planted them, and the first one actually has a little sprout coming up. And I looked, I was like, oh man, because it's like, yo, like I did the process, put the seed, and it was like a little bit, like it was not a super long amount of time. I have 4 of them, and only one of them sprouted. But it's like, dang, like this joint connects with life so well, because it's like all that I had to do. It took us like 45 minutes even to just plant them. The day before we was about to go plant, it was like, yo, you gotta first put soak the seeds to get them hydrated and all this other stuff. So we think we about to go plant them. Dang, we gotta wait another 24 hours, put them in water, wait, whatever. Finally plant them, and it's 4 of them. Only one of them joints is even shown a little bit of growth.
It is exactly.
And you
like
go
that.
check every day, like, yo, okay, is it grown? No, is it grown today? Is it grown? And it's just like, nah, bro. Nah, this shit ain't going nowhere. You good. You got a little bit of minute. Like,
I promise, the garden experience is so similar to growing your business, like growing and sustaining and
so
scaling
crazy.
your business.
Sustainability too, because it's like, despite the fact that you see no growth, you see no green sprouts, you see no leaves, you
Just dirt.
Just dirt.
Dirt.
And the thing is, now you don't even see the seeds no more,
right?
Because it's in the dirt. But you still gotta go. You gotta water. You gotta touch the dirt. Make sure it's moist. You gotta
make sure the light is right.
hitting it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yo, what is going on here? I don't like this.
No, I don't like it either.
Because the world showed us that it's just going to be like that. You're going to put the seed in the ground.
A microwave society, yes.
Jack and the Beanstalk type vibe. Just put them down and joint. It's crazy.
And even so, we get those messages pre-entrepreneurship, and I think that kind of also is like, okay, yeah, I could do this.
Yeah, facts.
And then you get in it, and you still hear those messages, but now you're also experiencing it, and the messages and the experience aren't necessarily lining up. So I think that also kind of creates like, am I doing something wrong? Was I supposed to? Let me double check this instruction.
Or you realize the people you was talking to wasn't even, they didn't know what they was talking about. And then you start talking to people that's actually doing it. You're like, no, it's going to take at least 5 years before you even see anything from this. Like,
and then hearing that juxtaposition is kind of like, I don't know if I got 5 years. First of all,
Wait a second.
ain't nobody tell me it was going to be 5 years now before I started, and now I'm in it and it's going to take me 5 years. What am I going to do in the meantime, in between time?
You gotta wait.
You
gotta wait.
And I think that's where we are in this meantime, in between time of knowing that we have this forest coming. And however long it's going to take, God knows.
But
I don't know.
If you look at them trees, and when you think about what a seed is, like when they always talk about, biblically speaking, always talk about the mustard seed. When you literally see,
and
like
you can't
the
even see a mustard
size
seed
of a mustard seed, like it's literally almost microscopic. Like it's literally that. But then when you see the plant that grows from that little small seed, it all makes sense. When you look outside, you see all the trees and know that they started from little small seeds, acorns or, pine cones or whatever, and now they're super huge. It's like, I get it. But then you cut that tree down and you look at the rings and realize that joint is almost 1,000 years old. Like, it took a long time to get there. Like, it's...
And I don't think there's enough messages that kind of talk about what to do in that in-between space. That space where you're just kind of existing and you're feeling...
You're
feeling all the feels. You're feeling all kinds of ways, just kind of out there looking at the landscape, and you see the trees in the distance and you know what you want your garden to look like or what you want your forest to look like. But knowing there's so much time in between, and what do you do with all of that time? And there's been a period in time with me, with my entrepreneurial journey, where the well has run dry because I dedicated time, energy, resources, skills to nurture this plot of land, and it's planted and it looks good. All the dirt looks good, and kind of just like sitting around,
nice rows and everything.
Just kind of sitting around. You know, bills come every month.
Facts.
And you're kind of like, why so you said this is a 5-year thing. Okay, what am I going to do for next month? And you get that anxiety. You try to figure out plans and solutions, because a lot of your time, energy, and resources is in the dirt.
Already sold.
So there's this space, like, what do you do? And there's been a moment in time where I decided, like, you know what? Let me just get a side gig. Let me just get a contract gig. Let me just do a little. I'm gonna shelf this. I'm gonna check on it periodically. It doesn't necessarily need 100% of my time and energy. I'm gonna just split that and do a little side gig. But I don't know if that's. I don't know if that's the answer for me. Knowing that I've done it, I've experienced it. But Jarrell is in a similar situation coming up now. He's debating what should he do.
And what's funny is when you fully established in 2016, right? Mm-hmm. That was 2018 when you felt like that. Because that was our first year at ACE.
Well, all the way up until 2020, I've always had a side gig. I wasn't full-time entrepreneur until 2020. So I got the business established in 2013. I got incorporated in 2016. All this time, I'm still working full-time, part-time, contract, side gigs, all the way up till 2020, which is when I was like, yeah, I can't juggle all of this. I have to choose. And I chose my business.
But look what happened in that little bit of time. It's only been not even 3 years since that, and look what's happened.
Yeah, like May 2020.
Look what's happened in those 2 years' time of you choosing to just tend to the land. Like, tend to the land that's been given to you. Don't go, because, don't go and start working other people's land. Like, because...
And that is where the paycheck is. You work other people's land, you get that routine.
You're going to get that security, but it's like... It also comes with glass ceilings. Mm-hmm. Talk my little brother. Shout out J. Cole. He know he is. Talking to him and his mindset of it, because he works a 9 to 5. Actually, he got a couple of jobs, and he do some entrepreneurial stuff as well. Mm-hmm. But it's like when you in a company and you see the top person in that company and realize you want to be further than that person is, that sucks the whole life out of you working in a particular organization.
Yeah. And
I feel like that was what happened to me because I worked in a private school. So all you see is teachers, administration, principal, board. Mm-hmm. There's no upward mobility in that space. If you in a public school, you get a little bit more upward mobility. You can go from teacher to administrator to possibly to a principal to working for the school board. But even superintendent, mm-hmm. I've met the superintendent, multiple superintendents that we've had. You just work a regular government job like everybody else. You're more known for it. Mm-hmm. People know your name. But you just work a regular government job. So it's like when you look at those situations, it's hard. It's hard for me to go and look at going to get a job because most people, especially in the job market today, they want dedication. They want a vigor to come and change and come and be impactful in this company. And it's like, I really just want your check so I can pay my bills. While I'm really doing what I really want to do.
It's just the means.
Maybe in the future, depending on how well you act and what your you know, your moral fiber is and all that good stuff, maybe I'll bring my company over and we can collab and we can sit together as partners. But if I'm not coming in as a partner, like I even be like a little bit side-eyeing W-2 money in general, because it's just like, that just means that I'm working under you. Like, you getting write-offs for me. Like, that's it. And it sounds bad. It sounds bad because like everybody, it's like so many people doing that. But like, it's just like you just getting the write-off off of me. Like, and regardless whether I'm super excellent as an employee or doing the bare minimum, I'm gonna be in the same spot. Like I watch, you know, like my mom works government. She's been working government for her entire life, like her entire career life. And it's like, she talk about employees. It's like, hey, this is my right hand man. He get all the work done. He on my staff and then you talk about like, but there's this one girl. She be coming to work late. She don't be dressed. She don't do. But they got the same job. It doesn't make a difference. It doesn't matter. I feel like I have to be doing something that matters. That's why teaching wasn't bad, because I knew regardless of the check didn't matter, because that shit was embarrassing. But the work mattered. I can't be working in a place where the work don't matter, bro. I can't. And I know the work matters here in the business. I know it does. So it's just like, what do you do? What do you do?
These are the questions. And to bring back that bowling analogy, you're at the lane, you have your ball, you're throwing the ball, it's still not getting that straight. Like, there's time to figuring out this system that works. Like, there's a formula. I really feel like there's some type of hidden, well-documented, systemic formula that if you have it and plug and play, it works. But we don't have access to that. We don't have that. I really feel like it's passed down from generation to generation to generation. How to navigate, how to build, how to sustain, how to grow, how to scale, how to network, how to gain donors and philanthropists, how to get sponsors. There's these formulas in place, and I think it's important. What helps me, how I intellectualize stuff, is understanding that these things exist, but also understanding that there's this wall that has not allowed me access to this information or the resources or the relationships to make it easy, to make it make sense, to make the business flourish and to grow, you know, at the rate and speed that I want it to grow.
Right.
So it's okay to intellectualize that, but I still have every right to feel frustrated and to feel exhausted and to feel kind of at my wit's end, as far as there's not much more I can do to toil the soil. I've done everything that I needed to do, but understanding that there is time and place for everything. And I think that when you talk about farming, when you talk about agriculture and gardening, there's not a lot of conversation about what to do in between those moments. Like if you're reading how to grow a plant and it takes, you know, like if you plant the seed, it takes 4 to 6 weeks to grow. What are you doing between those 4 to 6 weeks? So if you know it takes a business 5 years to flourish, what are we doing with the rest of our time to ensure that when it hits, every other system is in alignment so the crops can just flow through whatever they need? Because I've realized in a lot of different situations in my life as far as this business, there has been build-up moments where there's been drought and then something pops off and it's like an overwhelming surge of stuff, and there's a block because I don't have the system in place to filtrate, like, okay, this is going here to them, this is going there, this is going there, this is going there. So now that I've been able to sit with that and understand that and experience that, I'm like, systems are important. I've been preaching to him all year. We need systems, systems. We need systems. We need systems. We need strategies. We need systems, and we need boundaries. We need boundary lines in place. And I really think that although we do need the financial income, we do need the contracts, we do need the money, because yes, bills are due, and we want to live the lifestyle that we want to live, and we deserve to live that. Let's be clear, we deserve to live whatever type of lifestyle that we want to live, regardless of how our income works. I do think that this is an opportunity for us to really drill down and develop those systems that we need to in place. And yes, but we still need to figure out both. It's like a concurrent thing. I've had some conversations recently with some older, established government working folks, but also some older, established entrepreneurs. And I feel like in my body, I just be eye rolling, frustrating, because I feel like they're telling me things I already know. And they've really been drilling down the importance of building and sustaining and cultivating relationships. They're like, that's going to sustain and float your business. And I'm kind of like, yeah, I know. I'm meeting people. I'm becoming friends with people. I'm building allyships with people. But even that takes time. Like, there's so many things that take so much time. I need a solution to kind of sustain me while I'm figuring out and while I'm allowing things to grow and take place.
And you said two really, you said two really impactful things just now. One being when you talk about there has to be some system, some tangible plan of attack that is ultimately, generically successful. There's some kind of blueprint. And for those of y'all who don't know, I've done multiple multi-level marketing schemes, if you will.
Okay.
Now, for many people, those strictly look like schemes. They look like this is a scam. And that's the first thing that people hear, but it's not. It is legitimate business. It's legitimate small business ownership. You might have a product, you might have a service, and it's an effective business plan. So much so that many people do gain a lot of success off of it. But a lot of what that is determined, a lot of what determines who's successful in these particular marketing endeavors is your network.
Yep.
What I realized, I did my first one when I was still in Greensboro. So the only people I really know in Greensboro are the college kids.
Oh my gosh, do I know what you talking about?
Which one? Which you talking about?
World Vision?
No.
Okay.
I did Amway. And they actually had a couple of different businesses within the business. So one is you can do they were basically product based. So they had like health. And really, if I still had the $500 a year to continue just to renew my subscription or whatever, to have access to the products, because it's like a lot of products they have, the name might not be popping, but like what they were selling, like they had sustainable, you want to pause it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so working with that company, if I was still working with that company today, I probably would be a little bit more successful because the products that they have would be really aligned with what's happening. They got like sustainable cleaning products and like, people all into like
They are.
Climate change and eco-friendly and all that. So they had products like that. And then my second one I did when I came back home was ACN, which they did. It was a service base. So it's like third party contractors or whatever that like do like phone bills and like your utilities and stuff that kind of cut the bill down because of not going through the major supplier or whatever. So it's like, but what I realized with those businesses is like it's all a matter of the network that you have And that's not what they tell you.
Okay, that's the point you was making.
That's not what they tell you. They don't tell you.
Yeah, I
that,
know
yes,
Jarrell be going on these tangents now.
And y'all been watching this for over a year now. Y'all know. Anytime I go on a tangent, it's going to be relevant, and I'm going to bring it back to the point. The point is, with both of those situations, they don't tell you that, though.
Yes.
They don't tell you that because a part of their business model is to get the hopeless, the hopeless dreamer that just wants to have a business and wants to be their own man and wants to, and they prey on those people, and then the people who are actually worthy of using this mechanism for success, they already got what they need. They're just like, oh, okay. That they look at that as like, oh, I gotta plug in the supply for whatever product or whatever. For people like me, we got the supply, we got the knowledge of just owning a business, because a lot of that conversation came in as well. But it's like, so when you talking about there is a blueprint out there, there's plenty of blueprints out there. But the problem is, do you, whether acquired by yourself, whether inherited, do you have the necessary components to make this thing work? And that's where I said, that's why I like the multi-level marketing is kind of like a smack in the face, because it lets you know, I can even tell you how to do this, but you don't got what it takes. You don't have the tangibles. You don't got what it takes to make this actually work.
Yikes. Okay.
So that puts you in the space of, you can take it one of two ways. You can go, damn, I don't got what it takes. Let me just go back and be a cog in the wheel with everybody else. Or, like how I took it, let me take what you gave me and show you that I don't need what you think I need to get where I'm trying to get to. I'm gonna take what you got, I'm gonna take what you gave me, and everybody's gonna contribute. And then when I look back and give y'all my thanks, when I'm accepting whatever this is, right? Whether it's an Oscar, Grammy, whatever it is, I'm gonna give y'all thanks. But then it's also gonna be an aha, because I told you that I don't need what you need. So that's kind of the mindset I gotta keep to get to that harvest point. That's the point of, like you said, the 5 years business. The 5 years to make a business successful. That 5 years is me gathering all of my tangible knowledge, and then all of my ahas or told you so's that's gonna happen after that 5 years is over.
Facts.
So I guess
okay, that was good.
Tight shop, but I feel like waiting for the harvest, it takes on so many forms. That could be a whole nother episode. We could do a part 2 of this next month.
We probably should. Periodically, we actually should just kind of let them know where we are with the...
Yeah. So, I don't know.
Okay, can we pause real quick?
Yeah.
So, I definitely think that we should do a part 2 with this, because it's a lot to unpack, this whole waiting to harvest and figuring out what comes next and figuring out those solutions. Even
multiple, because we should also have one when we actually start having some harvest happen.
Listen.
This could be
no,
like
we really should.
Series.
This could be a series.
This series or a segment. This could be in the grab bag segment, waiting for the harvest. So the first trigger warning, this episode's trigger warning was called Waiting for the Harvest. Waiting for the Harvest is such a good, rich, saturated topic that is going to become its own segment. So when we do our grab bag every now and again, we can pull out the Waiting on the Harvest segment.
And I feel like a good prequel to this series would be the episode we did with Mama T when we were talking about sowing seeds.
Go back and watch that, guys. Go back and watch that.
So if you want to know like where we are, what exactly our seeds are and what we're planting, definitely look at that.
And if you want to know where we're shooting, at the Sloth Lounge. That was the outdoor space that we walked on that episode. We're in the lounge right now. Last month we was in the classroom, so you also get to see the space.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go into this wellness wheel, man.
Okay, so for the wellness wheel segment, we know that there's 8 different areas of wellness that we all need to be working on in order for us to be holistically well. And since we're talking about all of this pressure that kind of centered around like business success and where the bag resides, I think it makes sense to talk about financial wellness. Okay.
I feel like you probably are my biggest motivation in terms of mentality towards money as a business owner.
Aww.
I'll say that. I will say that. Because, when I first started out, you were basically the one who solidified me understanding my worth as an entity. You know what I'm saying? Not just the business of Grill Spirit, but like
drop my phone. He was preaching.
not just the business of Grill Spirit, but like Jarrell personally. Like when you step into a situation, whether it be in a job, contract, whatever, like recalibrating your understanding of what you're bringing to the table, so understanding that you should be getting your worth in that. So I commend specifically Propel bosses and boss lady. Like you be motivated because you be like, listen, but not only that, it's because you also was moving like that though. Like it's a difference between telling somebody like, hey, when you go to this, when you talk to these people, when you ask for, put in an extra 15% just because, like, whatever. And then watching you negotiate contracts and actually do those things, I'm like, oh yeah. So make sure my minimum hourly wage for contracts is this. Okay. Anytime I bring my equipment, it's gonna be this much.
All right, that's a
so
fee.
It's like respect.
I appreciate
putting bosses in boss positions. I like it.
I appreciate it. That means a lot to me because that's essentially what I want to do. Kind of incubate and support small Black businesses. So thank you. But I think I have to credit a lot of actually not much. With the wellness aspect, I have to credit my clinical side of things. But entrepreneurship, kind of like a lot of trial and error, a lot of fail forwards, fall forwards. And then mentorship probably from Mama T. So I'm glad to see that it's manifesting into something.
I'm totally in there.
When I talk about financial wellness, it's having the understanding that our emotions impact our decisions around saving and spending and splurging. Okay? We're not just doing it just because. There are some beliefs that we have. There are some value systems that we have. There are some small voices in our heads that are dictating our decisions. There are some feels that we're feeling that kind of lead us to make decisions around our money. There's going to be class coming soon for financial social work here at the Sloth Lounge. So if you're interested in learning about that, more to come. But it's really, again, feeling the feels and understanding all of the impulses around money. So when we're talking about the trigger warning segment, when we're kind of like, what do we do in this in-between space? What do we do in between time? How do we get the next money? A lot of us have this impulse, this anxiety that's kind of like, I got to get the bag. I got to figure out how to I got to figure out how to satisfy my financial needs and live the lifestyle that I want to live. And a lot of that leads to a lot of impulsive, quick money-making decisions or very overly secure clutching of the money that we do have. It leaves us kind of paralyzed, but it also leads us grasping at whatever comes our way. And a lot of the times it leads us grabbing onto something that doesn't necessarily align with what we're trying to do in the grand scheme of things. But I think the need of financial income kind of leaves our vision a little cloudy, and we're just grasping at whatever is going to get us through the next 30 days, whatever we can take. And there's been situations where I've grasped at contracts and gigs that didn't necessarily align with what I wanted to do, or it didn't necessarily propel my business forward, but I needed it to pay off. I needed it for the check, but that doesn't necessarily aid to my financial wellness. That then leads me down this rabbit hole away from my vision,
chasing the bag. And I feel like that type of rhetoric even is somewhat toxic, and it stems from where we are. Like,
and when you think about it, a lot of us are there. That's where a lot of us are. Like that job, that career, that side gig that we have, it's based off of us chasing this rabbit down this hole because we needed to fulfill whatever we needed to fulfill financially. But it creates stress. It creates, like, what's the word where you just kind of, you don't really like it. You're not really motivated. You're doing it for the money, but there's this disdain. That's the word.
Yeah, that's what I used earlier.
That's the word.
Okay, what do you think in terms of the glamorization of what entrepreneurship looks like? Because I have kind of two visions that I kind of go off of. A is like, of course, the celebrity, famous. Oh, I already got a claim. I have a lot of people following me, and now I start a business that people support just because of my name and my brand. Then, in that, yields great success. And then you got the other side of it where I drive through, Northern Virginia and see so many small businesses. You see so many bike shops and floral shops and little corner stores and all that other stuff. And you don't really see that in our neighborhood. You see a bunch of chains. That's about it. But it makes you look at it from two ways, because it looks at it like, okay, this little store owner, how are they living? You know what I'm saying? Because when you look at, for example, like what's the makeup sister? Kylie? Is that Kylie? I don't know.
I don't know these people.
All right, so Kim's sister. I don't want to Travis Scott's baby mother. I don't want to downgrade her because she has a lot of different things that she got going on. I think it's Kylie. I'm not sure.
I don't
but
know.
we're just gonna go with that. But like, look at her. She's a 9. She's in the upwards of hundreds of $1 million in net worth, if not billion. I think she hit billion with her makeup line and all that. But it's just like, yo, like, it's like, yo.
Brandon walked right in front of the camera.
That's good. Yeah, nah, it's all good. But it's like, yo, like, she's living a glamorous lifestyle as an entrepreneur. But then you think of like somebody who owns a bike shop. It's like, you might, have maybe a regular single family home. You might live in a condo or whatever, and you literally, not necessarily just paying your bills, but, it's you're living comfortably, you're making ends meet, but it's not like, super explosive and magnificent what it is that your business is. And it's just like finding a balance in that and understanding what success looks like in terms of financially is also a thing that I feel like we struggle with, because we see success is so glamorized and people don't realize that success means more than just a dollar amount.
Yeah, that kind of goes back to what I was saying about that bowling lane, where everybody's stepping up to the lane and everyone's visualizing that strike and what exactly does it mean for you to get that strike. And I do think we need to visualize it in every single area of our wellness. What is it? How do I know I achieved the goal of physical wellness? How do I know I achieved the goal of financial wellness? How do I know I achieved the goal of social wellness? What does it look like if I achieve the goal of occupational wellness? You really have to have those questions and answer yourself and make it plain. So for me, with financial wellness, I might not know what the number looks like, but I know for me, financial wellness, I'll know I would arrive when I can wake up and whatever I do in that day is literally because I want to do it in that day. It doesn't have nothing to do, it's not associated with any type of money. If I want to wake up and spend the entire day upcycling some furniture, then that's what I do. And I don't have to worry about the stress of, oh, this bill is due. Oh, that bill is due. Oh, I really should be doing something else that can actually make money versus doing something that I enjoy. So that's the mindset of what success looks like for me within the financial wellness space, that I'm living comfortably, that I can just, because right now when I'm waking up, I'm doing a lot of tasks that are centered around my business, which means I'm centered around it manifesting and becoming something sustainable, which means at the back of my mind, it is a financial decision that I'm making. I'm doing this because I enjoy it. I'm doing this because I think it's educational. I think I'm reaching back and I'm providing information. But am I doing this because this is what I want to do with my day to day? That's a tough question. And I think a lot of the times when you are in the entrepreneurial path, we say yes because it's things that we enjoy. It's things that we are skilled in. It's things that we want to do for our community. But I don't know if it's necessarily what I want to do today. So one day I will wake up. One day soon I'm going to wake up and say, what do I want to do today?
Ain't that something?
I don't think I've ever been able to do that, honestly, in
what
life.
I need to do today.
Right.
What I need to do today. And I just life in general, life in general is just like, you see that side? That side was like, yo, life in general is just like, it seemed like, yo, you wake up, bro, and like you owe $200 for something. Like, that's what it seems like. Like, so, and with that in mind, it's like, how do I go make that $200 without doing it the way that they want me to do it? Like, because they want you to go and, because what you I feel like are alluding to overall is that your time is the most valuable thing to you. So how you choose to spend that time and what your business or what your financial I guess your financial income is allowing you to do with your time is what's most valuable. And I think any entrepreneur in their right mind thinks about that. Like, I would rather put 24 hours a day into a business for 2, 3, 4, 5 years to be able to, after that, only have to put like 3 or 4 and it's still going to be yielding results. And it's just like, for the large majority of us, to make that quote unquote, that proverbial $200 that's due every time you open your eyes, most of us have traded our time in for that money. And so, yeah, I'll have to go and work 8 days a week at somewhere that once I leave that place, eight
days a week. Dang.
I mean, really, like, think about it, bro. Because think about it. Most people have, especially to live in the area that we live in, if you don't have a collaborated income or a supplemental income, it's hard. It's definitely difficult. So you most times will have at least 2 jobs to try to pay that. So you are working 8 days a week, because by the time you work your 40 hours at your full time and then 30 hours at your part time, that's more than 7 days a week. Like,
and I think that's why I've been so strict about setting my numbers, because none of this math is mathing
it's
right.
It's not mathing.
So working 9 to 5, the math doesn't math right as far as time. Like, how am I spending my time? Am I doing what I want to do? But this 24/7, 365 entrepreneurship stuff is not mathing right either, because I'm still not doing what I want to do to spend my time. Nevertheless, we're in a society where, money is due to certain entities at certain amount of time. So that does need to happen.
Always do.
So me figuring out in this perfect, like in this successful like space for myself, how much time do I have? What am I doing? And if I tell myself I'm only going to work 2 or 3 days a week, then that means that amount of money, whatever it is, whatever that goal number is, needs to be made within that 2 to 3 hour, day time frame, which means the numbers in my pitch and my contracts and my price point, they need to be different. And honestly, doing different reflects who I am, because I'm different when it comes to an entrepreneur that has a nonprofit that focuses on mental health through the arts. You're not going to see nothing like Propel. So my prices need to reflect that. Same with Grillsphere. You're not going to meet another storyteller quite like that. And you're going to pay premium for that. 1, because we're worth it. 2, because we want to live for a living. We don't want to work.
It's even crazier than that.
We want to live for a living.
The entities that we, fortunately we've worked with some entities that were definitely into supporting small businesses and supporting Black entrepreneurs and all of that good stuff.
Yep.
But a lot of companies, a lot of organizations, and a lot of agencies be trying to penny pinch the little guys. They bring a contract in, it's like, we're only going to pay this much for that. But clearly you don't have anybody on your staff that can do what I do, so you're bringing me in for a reason, but you don't want to pay me what I'm worth. Like,
and even that is kind of us grasping, because sometimes we do grasp and say yes, like, oh yeah,
I know I should be getting more than this, but
I need it for this month. Like, we make those financial decisions from an anxious state.
Yeah.
But we don't. So figuring out, being aware of that anxious state. So acknowledging that we're anxious, we're feeling that we need to feel those feels. We need to make calculated decisions based off of that. But a lot of the times we do make decisions just out of that. I need the bag, whatever the price is. Come on. Let me just sign it away.
Even for our bosses that that are working a 9 to 5, transitioning careers and thinking, man, leaving this leaving a known evil for an unknown evil is a hard thing to do. So it's like, even my process when I like apply for jobs and stuff like that, that look interesting, I compare like, what am I doing? You know, what are you requiring of me versus how much are you paying me? That ratio has to make sense for me to even be like, I'm going to even let you know that I'm interested in coming to this. You know, some instances I'm like, I plan to negotiate upon, you know, offer, but even from that was a propel boss lesson. Like, listen, once you let them know why you're valuable and what they need you for, now tell them what that's going to cost them and get what you need. Get what you need. So with that,
but
being
even
said,
that was a blueprint that wasn't necessarily passed on. Like, that's not something we were inherent.
Just kind of.
That was some information we were. Yeah. So we didn't say anything, but we felt you guys got what we were saying, because I don't think we answered. We didn't complete the sentence.
They got it. Because the thing is, if you were supposed to get it, you got it. If you didn't, then you know, maybe you have to come watch this episode a little bit later when you're in a different space, in a different situation. But with that being said, we told y'all last episode that we're gonna start a grab bag for our last segment of the show,
like some type of docket roulette. You never know what you're
gonna get. It's gonna be whatever it is. So today we are going to do solution focused, which is we spent the majority of this episode talking about our problems, talking about our emotional concerns, talking about all of the various pitfalls and ebbs and flows of entrepreneurship. So this segment, we are going to take the opportunity to start brainstorming solutions. Now, this is right here on the spot, y'all. Y'all are getting a real live Propel Productions Grillsphere collaborative brainstorming meeting, which normally lasts 3+ hours, where we just sit and throw ideas out and try to figure out what we can do to get us to the next step. So y'all are gonna get a small snippet of that right here on the podcast. So hey, welcome to the family. Again.
Okay, and I'm gonna reintroduce the problem, because you might be like, what specifically are they brainstorming for? So right now we're in a space and opportunity where we're waiting for the harvest. So we've done the work. We've laid out the blueprints, we made the connections, we made networks, but now we're in this voided space where the money has not been following suit yet. So we're brainstorming solutions to help generate income for us while we're waiting on our harvest to sprout. Okay, so this is just money solutions for entrepreneurs.
So can I give my first one that this is not on the spot because we kind of did it prematurely, but so I'm looking currently, of course the summertime's coming, students out of school, a lot of what we do, Propel and Grillsphere, is working with youth in various aspects. So what I was doing was applying for teaching artist jobs at various organizations to try to, you know, get contracted into a couple of roles in some different spaces. Which is dope. I repositioned that after having the conversation that we had twofold. A, what I just tell you earlier, we're shooting in the Sloth Wellness Lounge currently, right now. So what y'all see, the room that we're in is in a building, in a facility that we control. So first solution to that problem is, hey, instead of going and finding contracts for other people to pay you to come to their space, why don't you find students to bring to your space? That was the first solution. Second solution was that even in the teaching artists applications, using that specifically as promotion to say, hey, I actually do my own thing here, so come holler at me here, because I know what your kid is getting here isn't enough, and it's not the full capacity of what the Grillsphere has to offer. Solution. 2-part solution.
Boom.
So, with that said, any of y'all got kids, elementary, middle school, high school? I mean, I'm even doing college. Like, we got a couple of programs that we're going to roll out for the summertime. Y'all to see. Make sure y'all tuned in, because they coming. Music for the Soul, Self-Reliance Workshop. They're coming.
Boom.
Bing, bang, boom.
So I think another solution, another process to finding solutions is to really kind of reflect on all of the things that you've already have created or talked about creating. Because I think that Jarrell and I are not short of ideas. And I think that there'd be times where we just kind of rapid fire a lot of ideas, but then those ideas get shelved because we get caught up in doing a lot of other things. So in this solution, I think it's important to refer back to all the different ideas that we have. One of the ideas that we had was pitching to organizations to provide services for them. So I'm in the wellness space, pitching some type of health fair or wellness fair or professional development workshop, pitching some type of podcast or, it was podcasting.
It was podcasting, but I mean, we can.
It could be a lot of other stuff. So kind of brushing off that brochure, that document, and just start scheduling appointments and scheduling meetings with them, repitching it's a catalog now.
Facts.
Of ideas.
Facts. It's way further than just a couple of programs. Like literally between Grails Fair and Propel Productions, we have almost a program for pretty much anything that you could think of in the art space or in the mental health space, like in the social emotional learning space. Like we got everything for every demographic, from K3 all the way up through adults in workplace, everything. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
So it seems like we already got some solutions.
I was gonna say, we just need to.
We just gotta actually execute and implement, man.
But that took a shift in perspective, because right now we were so focused on
getting money.
The problem,
so
the
focused
task.
on getting money.
But by shifting our perspective on what do we have already in our deck that we could pull from to address this problem, we have a lot of different things. So sometimes when you're in this rut as an entrepreneur, it could be isolating and it's really just you having a conversation with you. But I challenge you to kind of step back after you vent about all the problems, you feel the feels, you process that, then take a step back and say, what do I already have in my Rolodex? What do I already have that can alleviate a lot of this? And do that. That's essentially what we just did.
Absolutely.
But yes.
Absolutely. So you want to go into some church announcements so we can get up out of here, man?
All right, church announcements, and then also we're going to play, maybe we could play that reel of commercials too.
Okay, that's cool.
We have a real studio audience,
we got
y'all.
A studio audience today, guys. Matter of fact, I'm gonna let y'all know what's happening. Since we're going into our church announcements, July 23rd.
Yeah.
July 23rd, y'all. Check this out. We having Thrift Nick.
What are we having?
We having Thrift Nick.
Okay.
Now, for some of y'all who are in the millennial category like us, y'all understand that the generation prior had what was called Freak Nick every spring break down in Atlanta. So we're gonna take that concept and we're gonna add it to some artsy high vibrations vibes. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, high vibrations.
With some thrifting, some secondhand selling, some consignment, all that good stuff. So right after we finish this podcast, actually, we're going into a planning meeting for Thrift Nick. But make sure y'all stay tuned. Follow the page at Thrift NIK. Make sure y'all follow Thrift Nick.
No, it ain't no K, bruh.
I mean. Oh, I did put it was the Q.
I'm about to say he's the one that did it. Thrift Nick. Make sure y'all follow NIQ. So Thrift NIQ on Instagram. Make sure y'all follow. And we just gonna give y'all a glimpse. Like we got some of the collaborators on here. Y'all wave at the camera. Say what's up to the camera, yo. You know what I'm saying? We got. I'm about to say I can talk loud. Hold on. Let me put y'all so that they can hear y'all. Wait. Hold on.
Just tell them who you are. Tell them who you are. Tell them how you helping.
I'm William, also known as AB, and I'm helping with music and a little bit of outreach and networking.
Boom.
Fast. Yo, I'm Sam. I'm helping hosting the flea market mainly. The music is these guys.
And I'm Pace. I'm helping with the music.
Awesome. So as y'all can see, As y'all can see, let's bring it down.
That's different.
As y'all can see, I got
We real official with the
some
tech.
dope folks out here ready to make moves and ready to, help on this collaboration of a whole bunch of different artists, entrepreneurs, businesses. I mean, we're gonna have vendors,
Yep.
we're gonna have food vendors,
Yep.
we're gonna have like they said, we're gonna have a super dope performance line. You know what I'm saying? Everything is gonna be popping. So make sure y'all tune in, make sure y'all come through. Keep a lookout for them tickets that's gonna go on sale real soon. July 23rd. It's gonna be lit. Right here at the Sloth Lounge. Right?
Yes.
Or excuse me. It won't be in the Sloth Lounge. It will be at the Artesian
Cultural
Arts Estate. Right here in Fort Washington, Maryland, behind Crossland High School. For those of y'all who are PG or Maryland, Maryland people. Alright? That's the first thing.
I'm gonna hit you with
What you got? What else you got going on?
4 things.
Go ahead, bust them out.
All right, first thing, every last Wednesday is belly dancing class here at the Sloth Wellness Lounge. So if you're interested in I only took 1 class so far, so
She
it'll
ain't
get
that good yet, but
it'll get
there,
more
though.
and more.
She gonna get there though. No worries.
So every 4th Wednesday at 7 at the Sloth Lounge, belly dancing.
Facts.
Every last Thursday at the Sloth Lounge, Vices.
Vices.
Okay, that's for the. You wanted
let me
to
do
do
the
it?
Vices because you got the belly dance.
Fine.
So let me do the Vices.
Fine. Go ahead.
So
Go
Vices, yo, it is it's basically just like a hangout for the fellas.
It
It's
is.
an opportunity for black men to get together and talk about whatever it is that we need to talk about without the women present. That's just and bring your own vice. You know what I'm saying? We got some cigar connoisseurs. We got some wine connoisseurs that come through. We got some cognac and other bourbon connoisseurs coming through. We got some herbal connoisseurs because we are 420 friendly out here for those of y'all who don't know. So come through Vices every last Thursday, men's only.
It is.
Are you bartending this time or no? You did say that though when we were
I
initially
did say that.
starting. And you missed the first one. So you might can get a drink poured by Boss Lady herself. She is definitely of a servant spirit. So, come through. Black men, all of y'all, come through. Support advocacy group. Talk about whatever we need to talk about. And you got a bunch of good, cool dudes that's going to be here, man.
And
So
the
make sure I
proceeds
tune in.
go to the space.
Facts.
So it's like $12.
Because like we said in that last segment, financial wellness
Okay.
is a real thing. We got to pay rent here. So,
All right.
all right, so what we got next?
The next thing is Remix Rage Smash Room.
Remember,
We never found the.
I did. Next time,
The
I'll
sound.
put
Okay.
it in the post. I'll put it in the post.
So we have Remix Rage Smash Room available in Temple Hills, Maryland. You should come out. We are open on Saturdays, and actually 2 of the gentlemen that you met today, Will and Brandon, are actually working the Smash Room.
Shout out to them, man. Shout out to
So
them.
make sure you book in advance. Follow us at
Catch a vibe.
Remix
That's
Rage
Will in the back.
_ Smash Room. Click that book in the bio and pull up. And matter of fact, I think we're gonna start being open on Wednesdays. But I'll follow up with them later. But we're definitely open on Saturdays. So come through. If you're feeling some type of way, you're feeling stressed,
Yeah.
anxious, angry, bored, pull up, destroy stuff. We have appliances, we have electronics, we have glassware, crank your music, all that.
Facts.
So that's the Smash Room.
And what's the last thing?
Oh, the last thing is Propel Bosses. Okay? So every second Friday,
Second Friday.
we
So
meet
you
up
got
here.
you got last Wednesday,
Yes.
last Thursday,
Yes.
Anytime you want to book the
Every
Smash
Saturday.
Room, and then second
Friday.
Friday for the Propel
So
Bosses.
Propel Bosses is a support group for small business owners and artists. So if you're looking for a tribe to build, if you're looking for a space to learn, if you're looking for a community to grow with, this is the space, this is the place, this is the people that you need to be with. Jarrell's already referenced Propel Bosses a couple of times here.
I'm a product, so anytime when you see the grill sphere and all that we got going on and all the mission that we're carrying out, just know that it was incubated in Propel Bosses. For sure.
So a portion of it is really focusing on our mental health as bosses. In order for us to do well with our company, we have to be well. So we talk about that. Next, we're learning together. So we're learning those strategies to help fortify, whether it's our financial stuff, whether it's our operational stuff, our service, our product stuff. And then we're vibing. Okay, so bring your vices. We're outside by the fire. We're talking.
Oh yeah, that
and the crazy
chat,
thing,
dog. That fireside chat.
and the crazy thing. So not only are we not your average networking because we're doing the emotional health, we're doing the education, but you're vibing with other owners of businesses. You're not. I mean, no shade to all the other layers of people,
not to mention,
but owners of companies.
all the other programs and all of the other events that we talk about on Feeling Triggered. If you're a Propel boss, you get first rights of refusal to participate in any of those.
Ooh, what's that mean?
That just simply means that, let's say, for example, you are a small business owner that has products that you would like to sell at Thriftnet. Well, guess what? If you're a Propel boss, no vendor fee, and if we have a competitive vendor that is selling the same type of products, you get the first say whether or not you want to do it before we even go with somebody else. So please, all my entrepreneurs, all my small business owners, show up for Propel Bosses and get in on this collab, on this network that is infinitely rewarding.
He said it.
And I got one. Can I get one more?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's your turn.
Also, we have launched a new show called Our Cinema, right on Alpha Conductor TV.
Okay.
Star yours truly, Jarrell T.G. We gonna have super dope guests come in and talk about some of the black cinema, some of the prominent gems, and some of the uncut gems. So give us some examples. Give us some thoughts on what y'all feel like y'all want to see. What movies do y'all want to see on Our Cinema? Go check out the first episode that dropped last Sunday. We are dropping every Sunday, 6 o'clock. So this Sunday, tune in. All right, 6 o'clock. We gonna premiere the next episode. So this will be episode 2. And we're gonna keep going. Before we get up out of here, can I give a brief? Because you said you want to do this. You said you want to do this.
Okay.
So let me give y'all a real quick understanding of where the idea for this whole show came from, right?
Yeah.
I'm talking to Lauren. So we at Artesian's Cultural Art Estate.
We are.
That has, about what's like 4 acres back there?
It is.
Right? And so we thought it'd be a great idea to have, hey, Miss Linda.
Y'all, we have a real live studio audience today.
Yes. So we had a great idea. It was like, yo, let's do some movies on the lawn, right? And of course, I'm always repping for the culture. That's what I do. So I was like, yo, let's watch some historic black films, and from the prime time of black film, black cinematography. Let's play some black directors out there and all that stuff. And Lauren was like, well, let me think. That's a good idea, but I might not necessarily had ever seen some of these movies.
First of all,
before.
that's not.
I haven't never seen none of these movies before, so you got to get me hip to what is the movies for the culture. I said, wait a minute, Lauren. Wait, hold on.
Okay, can I just jump in real quick?
Hold on a second.
Okay, let me just jump in real
Go
quick.
ahead, you got it.
There might be, there's a lot of movies I feel like I've seen, but yes, there's a lot of movies I have not seen. But
No.
I feel like if they give me just the little crumbs, then I could.
But see, that's
flip
not what
through
we
my
talking
mind
about. That's not what we
and
talking
see,
about.
have I seen it or have I not
because
seen
anybody-
it? But okay,
in the culture-
sir. Okay.
Go ahead.
Let me begin at the beginning.
Oh, my
As
God.
a PK, growing up, born in 89, growing up in the 90s, there was a lot of movies for the culture that I was not able to see.
That was like prime real estate for black cinema.
It was,
Prime real
but
estate.
growing up as a PK, I might not have been able to see certain rated movies, and I should not be faulted for
We're
that.
not faulting you, though.
And so,
We're not faulting you.
so there might be some memes out there. There might be some
there's gonna be
quotes
some
out
memes.
there that I might not fully get right away because I might not have seen the movie. But I feel like since I've been old enough to see movies, I see them very sporadically, here and there. But it's kind of like spades,
But listen.
And be clear, I know how to play spades. Okay, but it's kind of like spades. If someone admits that they don't know how to play spades, it's not like a let me teach you how to play spades.
No.
It's more like a you don't know how to play spades. You don't know how to.
That's 'cause
and
we
that's
get it
how
out the
this
mud.
is. And
We
that's
get it
how
out the
this
mud.
is. Okay.
That's what we do.
And again, to be clear, I know how to play spades.
Okay.
But with the movies,
Well, we were having some space games going at
but with the movies, they're like, oh, you ain't see that? Oh, you ain't see that? No, I didn't see it. Can we
Okay.
pull it up? Can we watch it? No, it's just
So
a bunch
clearly-
of it's just a bunch of teasing.
Clearly, hold on. So clearly, she took her being the origin story of how this show came about in a negative light. So let me change and kind of like reposition it. Can I restructure it for a
Okay,
second?
let me sit.
Lauren is responsible for inspiring the idea that A, we may have some millennials and further that have never seen some of these movies, and then we have some Gen Z and further that have never seen these movies. So this can fill a void for a lot of people. Therefore, we came up with the idea of our cinema. So you could check that out every Sunday at 6 on Artful Conductor TV. And eventually, we'll have Boss Lady on to talk about a movie that she's actually seen. And it's really
I've seen some.
funny because we
There's
have a
some I've
segment.
seen.
We have a segment. Our interview segment is also called You Ain't Seen This Movie.
Oh,
So
yeah.
after we have a conversation about the movie, we play a quick little trivia game similar to Family Feud where they play Fast Money. And you got to answer at least 3 of the 4 questions. If you don't get at least
That's
3
a
of the
high
4,
You didn't watch that movie.
you ain't seen this movie, okay?
You didn't.
So when Boss Lady comes on, she gonna figure out what movie she wants to come and represent, and we gonna see if she actually seen this movie. So when she talk about I seen bits and pieces,
You gotta
here and
give me
there,
a little
it's not about knowing the synopsis. It's not about I know the characters. It's about knowing the essence of what the director was trying to do with that movie. It's about knowing some of the quotables there that will not be known unless you've actually seen this movie. So Sundays at 6, our cinema with Jarrell T.G. Make sure y'all tune in right here on Artful Conductor TV. Okay?
And so yes to that, but then that's also gonna inspire our Movies on the Lawn series this summer.
Let's get it.
So for the culture and to help me with the cultural movie references, we're gonna be watching. We're gonna be watching Movies on the Lawn here at Artesian Cultural Arts Estate. So if you're watching our cinema and you're like, oh, I remember that movie was so good, let us know because we want to get a roster of what movies we want to play
I'm
here.
thinking about doing our cinema kids too.
okay.
Not as often as the regular episode, but like do some joints like Good Burger. You know what I'm saying? Do some joints like
I've seen
Proud
Good-
Family.
I've
movie,
seen Good
You know what I'm
Burger.
saying? Just some ones that's
I've
just
seen Proud
representative of
Family.
us. Color of Friendship. Y'all don't even know about that one. Go to Disney
I don't.
movie. Disney Channel.
I don't know if
movie. Y'all
I've
already know.
seen Color
But
of Friendship.
It's okay because it was a very impactful political movie about apartheid in Africa and two. A white girl and a black girl that became friends over an exchange program. It was a good movie.
Understood.
Disney Channel. Go if y'all got the Disney Channel app. If y'all got the Disney app, then go check it out. It's on there. But yeah, so I think that was pretty good.
I think that's all our church
Wrap
announcements. But
that
if you
up.
want more, we have more on Artful Conductor
Just
TV.
make sure you subscribe.
So watch our playlist to see what's coming. But
sure
we're
you
going to
follow
sign
us.
off soon because, as you can see, we have a live studio
people here
audience
that's
that we're going to
ready.
meet with soon for Thriftnik. And again, it's your girl, Lauren.
And I'm Jarrell T.G. and this is another episode of Feeling Triggered Podcast. We'll see y'all next time. Blessings and favor. Yeah.
I really wasn't expecting.
System malfunction.